Welcome to another guitar lesson. In this video, I'd like to share a few tips for improving sight reading skills on the guitar. If you are struggling to keep up with the music and read the notes, then these 8 tips are guaranteed to take your sight reading skills to the next level. The first tip is to learn the caged system. The caged system tells us that every chord starting with the letter in the word caged has a unique shape when played on the lowest possible frets. The caged system can be used to find how to finger chords higher on the fretboard. For instance, we can have an A major chord in the shape of an E major chord, or a D major chord in the shape of a G major chord. During practicing, you should try to find all of the possible shapes for every chord. This will help you become more comfortable with the guitar's geography and allow you to recognize the patterns on the fretboard. The next tip I have for you is to look for the octaves first when you have to play a chord. If a chord has an octave in it, then planting your fingers on the octave first reduces the amount of thinking you have to do to find the remaining pitches. This ties into the caged system in that how you play the octave in the chord determines which chord shape you are using, and therefore gives you the information you need to play the remaining pitches in the chord. Now, a lot of guitar music has thirds in it, and if you practice your scales in thirds, you are building up a bank of these thirds in your memory, so that when you see it in your music, you don't have to think about the fingering. Playing scales in thirds also helps you develop comfort in different keys, and helps you to recognize the patterns of the different keys on the fretboard. Another tip I have for you is to learn the diminished seventh chord patterns. Because of the nature of the guitar, diminished seventh chords can only be fingered in very specific ways that are easy to memorize. Diminished seventh chords on the guitar are rarely closely spaced, but often spread out in pitch among 4 adjacent strings. So, once you memorize the pattern, all you have to do is look at the lowest note of the chord in your music, and your fingers automatically know where to go. One thing that will help you learn where all the notes are on the guitar is to play all of the natural notes on each string. That is, play all of the musical pitches that are neither flat nor sharp, going up to the highest fret on each string. This will help you learn the geography of the guitar and help you find notes or the same notes on different strings if your first choice isn't technically feasible. It also helps you become more comfortable playing high on the fretboard on lower pitched strings, which is something that is often overlooked but necessary. Tip number 5 is to play without looking at the fretboard. If you are looking at your hands, you are not looking at the music and are likely going to get confused or struggle to play the music quickly. To improve your skills at finding the right notes without looking at your hands, play your memorized music without looking at either hand. Your guitar probably has dots on the top side of your neck, but you should aspire to never need them. Far jumps along the fretboard are entirely possible without needing to look. Once you get comfortable with navigating the fretboard by touch, you'll be able to focus more on the sheet music and your sight reading will improve. Another technique that will help you play whatever the music gives you is to learn how to rake a single finger across strings. Sometimes, when we are reading music for the first time, we choose fingerings that are not what we should choose if we study the music. Sometimes we have to capture more than one note with a single finger across strings. To do this, you simply collapse your finger in the direction of the next note you have to play, almost as if you were half barring. Once you master this technique, you'll be able to snag the notes you forgot to consider when instinctively searching for a fingering during sight reading. We are often told as guitarists to avoid repeating fingers on either hand. However, during sight reading, by definition, you have not seen the music to work out the proper fingerings. You must practice repeating fingers by plucking repeatedly with the same finger on the right hand and using the same finger to shift between multiple notes on the left hand. In fact, try playing some of your single line music with just one finger on each hand. This will have a massive impact on your technique in very positive ways, and I recommend that all guitarists not perform with repeating fingers, but practice often with repeating fingers. Specifically for sight reading, it will give each of your fingers a lot of dexterity and prepare them for anything. Those are all the tips I have for you today. If you found this helpful, please like and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.